I did it. I did it again. I got this piece of crap running again. And the series of events that unfolded that made me even think about doing this. Well, first off, my white car broke and it left me abandoned in Frederick, which is about an hour away from here. The timing belt broke, so it's not like I could have fixed it on the side of the road. And then my youngest was asking us what we were going to take to Carlisle, since at that point we only had the wagon and the truck, which is a Ford, obviously. I was like, I don't know, dude. Like, probably just the wagon. They're like, well, it would be cool if you fixed your green car. And I was like, yeah, it would, but I don't think I'm gonna feel good enough to do that. And then, then, I'll wait for this car. Then I saw that my buddy was selling a single cam engine, and I was like, you know what? I got a few weeks. If I work slow, I'll give it a shot. And that's what I did. I did it really slow. I did it at my own pace. Took me about 3 weeks. Doing this when I was friggin', how old was I? When I was 26 or 27, I sold an SRT4 and only had this to drive, but it had a blown engine at the time. So I had to swap in another engine. Now, I had a drivetrain together and I just, you know, did a pull out, put in, that was it. And I did it over a day and a half. This took me 3 weeks. So, yeah, being hurt, it's taking a lot out of me, but I'm still getting things done at my own pace in a way that I want to get them done. But yeah, after 23 months, I got another drivetrain in this and I'm driving it back and forth to work again. I haven't even changed the oil in it. It has the oil in it that the engine came with, which was pretty clean, so that's why I didn't change it. But yeah, it's running, it's driving, I'm happy, the family's happy, you know. Christy cried about it, it was great. What up, nerds? So I pulled a sneaky and I blew up the motor in my daily, and me and Christy got to talking and figured out that it would be almost cheaper to put a different engine in my NYG than to fix my daily. So I just went and bought a single cam engine from one of my buddies, David Jacoby. I'm gonna put a single cam back in the NYG and then drive that the rest of the summer. So this is a regular standard 2001 single cam engine, nothing special about it. David went and swapped it to a first gen like side cover and first gen tensioner pulley for me. It's got, you know, the crank sensor in it, the oil pressure sensor, which looks like it probably stand to be changed. It's got, you know, the knock sensor on the front side. That's what did me in on my motor years ago. So I had considered, you know, like taking it apart and putting my Magnum cam in it, but it's just gonna add time to this. So I'm just gonna swap it in as it is, and then we'll see where we can go from there. But today it is 95 degrees outside and I'm not built for the hot weather anymore. So I might go turn the AC on in the garage and get it ready for me, but I've got to get out of the sun for a little bit. So I'm gonna go start on that. Also, this isn't gonna come out until after I go to Carlisle. So, you know, if I pulled a sneaky on all my friends, you know, sorry, not sorry. I'll pop in the garage real quick and turn the AC on, or maybe I'll at least, yeah, just turn it on enough. But anyway, yeah, I was doing the math. Like, I have two dual cam heads to fix the daily, right? So I have 2 dual cam heads that I could use, but the problem is, one, I don't know how old it is. The other one has some pitting on the firing area of the like where the head gasket would seal. Oh boy. So, you know, I considered just trying it anyway. I considered trying to like sand the head, like physically sand it. Realistically, like both of those are kind of bad ideas. So I'm going to fix the NYG first, and then I'll take the head off of that car, or one of the other heads, and take it to a shop and have it rebuilt. And hopefully have that ready around October, November. Like, I can drive the NYG pretty late this year because, you know, it's got a heater. It gets decent gas mileage. I won't mind driving it to work. And like, I had done all that work on it 2 years ago, so it shouldn't be too bad to get back on the road. Also, at some point, it had started raining, so I grabbed that out of the barn awning and just ran it over here, panicking because the engine I have is still in really good shape. Hey Siri, pause the music. Now, it might not look like a big feat to you, but this is a big deal to me. Getting this silly single cam engine in here. Mainly because that's the hardest I've worked in more than a year on anything. It took me a lot longer than I wanted it to, but I also did it by myself. Mainly because, you know, it's like 10 o'clock at night. This is the only chance I had to do this. So anyway, engine's in here for the night. I need a throwout bearing. I threw out my throwout bearing. I've got a clutch. So I'm just going to toss it on this bar. It says bar on there, not bad, thank God. I'm going to take the transmission, put the clutch in here, get a new throwout bearing, put it all together. I even got a clutch fork over there. Then I'm going to see how far along I get. I'm going to try and stab it in the car as soon as possible because I want to get it running and driving. I want to go get antique plates for it. So we'll see where it puts us. Alright nerds, so when you have a manual transmission, you need a throwout bearing. And I threw out my throwout bearing. So I went to the parts store and got one that was hopefully new. And it's used. So this is greased, right? Like, it's got grease inside of it. But I noticed that the little tangs that are supposed to hold the throwout bearing on are broken. I've broken every set of these that I've ever put in. And I don't usually have throwout bearing issues. This one isn't making any noise to me, so I'm gonna go ahead and run with it. We'll do the same thing, put some grease on it, and you know, put on my input shaft, and you know, it's gonna work. Then I gotta make my transmission to my engine. I'm probably gonna use my engine hoist to get it down. And then the next step is gonna be taking the engine out of the other car. I also gotta fix the harness. I bought the pigtail to do it, but I had stolen the pigtail off of that to fix my dual cam car. So gotta go back and fix a bunch of stuff that I did to me. Past me is not kind to present me, ever. Then I gotta find the bolts for all this. This is the throwout bearing I just took off of my NYG earlier this year. And this tang is broken. This one's barely hanging on, but the... Oh man, the most part is you can hear that it's really crunchy, and they all end up kind of sounding like that after a while. The new throwout bearing I got, the tangs are already broken, but it's not crunchy. So I guess somebody tried to put it on and then broke it and then was like, oh, I probably shouldn't put this on. So I'm gonna go ahead and throw this one out, use my new one, because I actually considered reusing the old one. This might not even, I think this is actually the one from my SXT when I did the clutch like 2 years ago, so whatever. So I came out to work on the car, obviously, and it is pouring outside. And like the little piece of wood that goes into your door to like help keep out weather, it rotted, so I have this old sweater stuffed in there. I guess I'm in the right spot to get some work done, so. Okay, so I'm getting ready to bolt this PT Cruiser clutch onto this flywheel, and this clutch, yeah, it looks kind of bad, but it only has 5,000 miles on it, so I'm gonna go ahead and reuse it. And I had a spare flywheel, I'm sorry, a flex plate. So what I did is I lined this one up with that one, sprayed it so when the lines matched up, they, you know, matched up. Then I lined this up with the clutch, put a dab of spray paint on that, and got there you go. So the thing is when you're trying to put these on, for some reason the bolt holes never line up. All 4 of them are set in a different spot. So instead of like putting the engine and transmission together and then rotating the clutch until hopefully all the bolts line up, and I've done that before, and it's like you go around 9 times to get 4 bolts to line up. It's so annoying. Or you'll get 3 lined up and the 4th one will be off. But anyway, I just did that so I could locate it. And then you just put the bolts in using a little 17mm wrench, and you spin the engine over with another wrench or a socket driver or something. So I'm going to go ahead and do that now. So these are the little, you know, I don't know, flex plate bolts. There's 4 of them. They're 17mm head. I know this is a red container, but it's blue Loctite. And I mean, you can use red if you're really about it like that, but for a car that's making 120 horsepower, it's not really a big deal. You can probably get away without putting any Loctite on at all. Here. Yeah, now you get it all over your fingers and look like you've been knuckles deep in a Smurf. Shout out to my Ingress homies. Wow, this is super annoying. My back is killing me from that injury I got. Oh, there we go. 1 down, baby. Now hopefully the rest of them will just stay lined up. I'm gonna get, before I start sending these things home, I'm gonna get all 4 threaded in. Thing making compression, baby. It's so weird because, like, I hurt incredibly bad, right? But as long as I'm laying down, I can use my arms as much as I want. So that's cool. Kneeling really hurts. Like, kneeling makes my lower back hurt real bad. And then, of course, you know, like, walking and standing is okay. Lifting stuff kind of sucks, but, you know, I try not to do it so that I don't hurt myself more, but fortunately, it's just part of life some days. You just gotta pick something up. Alright, so I'm gonna hold this side and try to tighten this side, and you know, I can actually see these bolts, so it's not that big of a deal. The size of them is not a 17. It's not a 19. Oh, it's actually an 18. This is like, well, that's actually pretty good right there. So let's oh, I don't know if you can really even see what I'm doing, but I did one. I'm gonna do this one. I'm using my hoist basically to stop this from moving. This is not my favorite, and it's certainly not ideal. Let me tell you, kids, this ain't fun. But, you know, get there. There we go. 2. And it's hitting the compression, so it's hard to move. Especially when I'm still fucking on the ground. Annoying, but all 4 done. Alright, so put my new throw-out bearing in there, and then I greased the shaft some, and I did that using a plastic bag because I didn't want to get all that crap on me. I've seen some people grease the input shaft. I might put a, yeah, that's gonna be plenty, just to help it well, help it out. But yeah, I greased the outer edge of the shaft, and I put some grease on the inside of the throw-out bearing. I put some on the pads, like, just to help it all actuate some. Now, I've done it without doing any of this before, and it's been fine. But over the years, it's just something I started doing. I've never noticed anything wrong with not doing it. I just like to, I guess. So, now, it is annoying to do this, but it's a lot easier with it out of the car. There we go. So, I don't know if you actually saw what I did. I put the car in, or put the transmission in one of the gears and moved the output shaft. Well, you know, where the axles would go, CV shaft. I just have an extra stubby laying around, but so you can see my very custom, very special radiator fan mount is just a zip tie. I did it on 2 sides. That's how it's mounted. And obviously this was supposed to be temporary, and I never changed it. So it's another day. I worked on the drivetrain a little bit the other night. I just turned the camera off and just worked. One of my transmission mount bolts is stripped, and then one of my bobble strut bracket mounts are stripped. Basically, I've been messing with this transmission off and on since I was 22. So there's probably been a couple times where I just jammed an impact on something and hammered it until I stripped threads out. So I figure 2 out of 3 bolts for each one's going to be just fine, and I'll figure it out later. I think that's what I did last year, but this year I put Loctite on 2 of the bolts, the transmission mount bolts, obviously the very important ones. The bobble strut bracket, I'm not going to really worry about. I think 2 out of 3 is going to be fine for that, because I don't plan on doing any hard launches on, you know, slicks anytime soon. You know, the only pair of slicks I have are probably 20 years old, and I'm not going to put them on. So anyway, let's keep going. I think the drivetrain's about ready to drop in, so that'd be pretty cool to do today. Well, still got the camera running, so I should gonna move on, I guess. Oh shit, I hit the fucking car. God damn it. Screw the fucking pan off. Me and my youngest got the drivetrain in the car tonight. They're an expert flashlight holder, so if you have ever yeah. So if you've ever been screamed at your dad, know that this didn't happen tonight. I'm gonna see what I can do tomorrow. Alright, so I just bought some of these little heat shrink connectors and then I lost them. So I found 2 and I had 1 regular one left over. So there's a right way and a wrong way to do this, and I'm definitely going to do it the wrong way. I'm just going to tape over all this. So this is for the throttle position sensor. This one's for the idle air control valve, and usually they're together, like all the way up. But I took them apart last year so I could run a 2nd gen throttle body, but I never put them back together. I'm probably still going to run a 2nd gen throttle body that my buddy Tim let me borrow. You can see that I actually like tore some of the weatherproofing on this, so I'm going to tape this one. I'm probably going to tape all of these individually and then tape them all together, but not use a whole lot of tape on them. Yeah, I'll do it right there. This one that I did, you can see it's not that great, and this connector is not great either, but the metal inside of it's fine. That's why I'm taping it down. No, I'm not doing a great job on this, and so just don't really care, I guess. I want to kind of start from here and just go up. I'm overlapping about a half. Now, I would, man, this is really lumpy. I like to just crimp stuff together. Now that I've researched it and I've had, you know, people smarter than me research it, I crimp stuff together. Solder can crack. I've had solder crack on me. I've had it where one of my solder joints actually wore through the heat shrink I had because I used a cheap heat shrink. and left me on the side of the road figuring out what was going on. Luckily I figured it out, but that was not a fun evening. I forget what I bought that day. I bought something off my buddy. I think I bought a transmission. Yeah, the old parts car ACR is looking pretty rough, but it's got exactly what I need down here. So I already had stolen the axle nut off of that last year from my NYG. Sorry I didn't film it all, but it was really hard getting the short axle out without being able to push the spindle down. But I got both the axles out. Blair didn't put the little clips on them that you usually do on the transmission side, so that made it easier. Plus it's raining, or it was. I mean, it's like just finished up raining. The axles I pulled from Blair's car on the spindle side are real rusty. So I'm gonna spray them with a little PB blaster and do some scrubbing. I've got a brass brush I'm gonna try, and I also have a an old SOS pad, and I got some rags. So it's been a long day, and I couldn't get the axle out of the transmission, but it's the 4th of July, so I'm just gonna give myself some grace here. Tomorrow is Friday the 5th. Saturday I'm picking up wheels for the car. I've always wanted a set of these, and I just scored them for 160 bucks. They are 2-piece Volkswagen BBS wheels, the BBS RX2s. They're very similar to the SRT4 ACR BBS wheels. So I'm going to be putting them on the NYG. Yeah, I picked these wheels up from my buddy Ryan for 160 bucks, and Ryan got them from a Neon he's parting out, because he's parting out this Neon to swap all of the stuff into a Horizon for one of his buddies at work. So it's a big swap-a-thon going on, and you know, the tires there's a little dry rot on them, but they're gonna be fine for me to putt around on for a little bit. So I was talking with my buddy, and I told him I let him in on the secret that I was putting this car back together, and he told me to make sure to, you know, have my protection, and then do something called a, I don't know what the fuck he was saying. Give this a hawk to it or something. He said, you know, hawk to it, you know, some lubrication. What the fuck he was talking about. But you want to make sure you lube up your shafts real well and use protection while handling them. And just give it a good, make sure the splines line up, and then make sure you're in far enough. I just clicked in. Alright. And on this side, I need to turn the spindle some and lead it around some of this stuff in here. I guess I ought to do the same thing on this side. I'll give it a little lube. You know, lube the shaft up some. And it should slide right through the spindle. I got that in place. I put this one on the bottom. That's my adjustable one. I put the tough one up top. And as far as the alignment goes, I'm just going to leave it out, and I'll see where that puts this. Alright, so I just went and got my adjustable wrench, and hopefully this will hold it in place. The battery isn't even dead, it's just acting up. Come on. And the same thing for this. That on there. This on here. I must have smacked the end of this one with a hammer or something, so it's a little swedged out. But as long as it hits the threads in there. Yep. Yeah, the end right here. I gotta I gotta fix that. I'm not even sure where this axle's from, but I think it's from the first axle replacement I got years ago. All right, and I'm just gonna see if I can get it off with it. All right. And then just a little. All right. Get it in there good. And then, I'm like way up under the car now. I can't get my arm to move that way. That sucks. Sucks real bad. There we go. Take your freshly lubricated shaft, put it in the hole, and then just there, it's in there. Sweet. In the midst of me trying to get my NYG ready for this car show that I have to go to tomorrow, I'm also getting my wagon together. And so I just dropped off 2 wheels to get 2 new tires at Walmart. And I'll come back and pick them up in the morning because they're too busy today, which is kind of perfect for me because I get paid tonight. So I know you can't really tell, but I'm getting close to ready to fire this thing off, and I'm just gonna have to wait till the morning. I've stolen relays out of it, so I gotta put relays in it, dump some coolant in it, and I'm using up all my spare jugs at this point. I still have to mount my radiator fan, and I'm gonna use the real spring clip things this time, not just some zip ties. But I got the harness mounted, I got the throttle body installed, but I don't know how I'm gonna put a filter on it, or even if I am today. And my underdrive pulley. I need an underdrive pulley and a belt. You know, it's like 11 o'clock. I came out here and worked for a few hours after dinner and everything, so we'll, so I got fuel going in using my siphon tube setup, just because it's easier than pouring it. Okay, I guess I'm going to see if it shoots fuel up front. I just turn the key a couple times and then hit this and see if it spits out fuel. Oh, it's leaking up there. Okay. My buddy Craig wanted me to change these clamps years ago, and this is why. Because they're not safe. So I just spilled a bunch of fuel onto this, and I'm worried about maybe the alternator having a spark inside of it, so I'm just going to dunk it with some water. There's pressure there. Ooh, that looks gross. I need to catch that first. I ended up cleaning at the end, but that's sediment from the bottom of the tank and crap, so yeah, probably already in the injectors. Oh well. I have this relay cover off, so let's oh shit. That never son of a bitch! I've never had one of those leak on me, dude. God damn. I don't even know if I have another one. I forgot that I had this Schrader valve, or this fuel rail from my PT Cruiser. And I have this little Schrader valve tool. These are different than car Schrader valves, somehow. I guess the little rubber piece inside of it's rated differently. The seal. So you don't want to put car tire or any of those Schrader valves in here. These are blue. Oh, some of that gunk from in there got caught up in the seal, or in the Schrader valve. Now it's holding it open. It's got oil in it. Not a lot, but it's got some in it. Let's see. Number 2 was off. Oh, there's no map sensor on it. Oh my god. That's really silly. Alright. Nuggets out here, he's a good luck charm. I found map sensor wasn't plugged in, and my mortal enemy, the fucking knock sensor, was also not plugged in. Let's see if it sparks up now. Got a little miss. When I pulled this old injector off the rail, it was leaking. There was no pressure in the rail, and then as I pulled it out, it spilled fuel all over. So let's hope that that's our misfire issue. Sounds more like normal. That's good. That's nice. This is before I start. A lot of dirt in it. Oh, and my son. Especially around here where I kept using the car to get up, around the headlights. And under here. So we'll see what it's like when I'm done. So this is after. And it just looks a lot better. There's still some soap in the door jambs, but those wheels look a lot better. I've sprayed some of the dirt out. There's still some spots I gotta clean up. So what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna hit it with some degreaser. See, at this point it's nothing special. It's got the Magnum intake that it had before. I gutted the butterflies out of it, so it doesn't have the cool crossover sound, but also I don't have to wire it up. eBay radiator, the SRT4 type, radiator hold downs that don't fit right. This, bunch of crap over here to hold the engine mount bolt in because it came out. I went back to a 49mm throttle body. I had a 60 on it when I got it running because I don't know, it fit like crap. It didn't run right. So anyway, I'm happy with how this is running now. It runs like a stock single cam second gen car, maybe with a little more panache to it because it's got a tune and different manifolds and an Iceman. But other than that, it runs good. It doesn't get great gas mileage, but I don't know why that is. Could be different things. I'm not really driving it hard. Occasionally I'll get on it, but for the most part I run it soft. I don't want to break it again. But it's only, it's getting anywhere between like 29 and 30 miles to the gallon, which is okay. That's, acceptable for me. I did figure out exactly why it melted 3 pistons 2 years ago, and it was because injector 4 was leaking. And the way my long tube's designed, cylinder 4 is where the O2 sensor is. So it was leaking, running stupid rich the entire time, and the computer was doing minus 25% trims for cylinders 1, 2, and 3. Well, I was trying to do it for all 4 of them to get the O2 reading where it's supposed to be. So cylinders 1, 2, and 3 were running, you know, negative 25% fuel at all times, while it was running pig rich on number 4. And that's what caused it. The car ran fucking awesome. I mean, it ran hard. It ran super, super hard. So I had no idea. Of course, it was running lean. It was probably running 16 to 1 all the time. And with the tune that Tim did, it ignores the knock sensor a little bit. So the knock sensor wasn't in there securely, but also it was kind of ignoring it. So Tim's still my boy to go to for tunes. But yeah, I did find a little issue with the knock sensor connector, so I put a little rubber gasket back on it. It's good to go now. Yeah, if you've made it this far watching this, I really appreciate it. You know, like, share, and subscribe when you get a chance, because I like making videos. It's fun. It's entertaining. It gives me something to do. And I mean, I'm going to be working on this crap anyway. I might as well point a camera at myself while I'm doing it. I do need to get a different camera than the one I have. I bought one, I really like it. I bought 2, I really like them. But I need something with a better autofocus. But I'll get there eventually. Yeah, today's June 28th. It would have, my mom passed away 2 years ago. 3 years ago. And she would have been 75 today. And then on the 1st, it's the anniversary of my dad passing in 2017. So it's this time of the year is kind of a hard week for me. Yeah, this time of the year, it's beautiful out. The weather's good. I can go do car stuff, and this week's always really hard for me. Anyway, thanks for watching. You too can be a dumbass in your favorite project car if you just put in an hour a day. Because an hour a day will make your jack stands go away.